All right, so what we're going to look at now is the dimensions. So on our panel over here, we've got dimensions, and you see you've got smart, linear, baseline, aligned, a lot of different options. So let's start with the smart dimension. When we pick on that, it's asking us to select an entity. So let's just come down here and we'll just grab this entity here. We'll grab that line, and you can see that it's setting up that distance. So depending on where we put our cursor, it changes the location of that dimension. So I want this to be dimensioned here. And if I just pick inside here or outside here, you can see it's placing that object. Now, if I click there, now that's my dimension. Now you'll notice there's a kind of a glyph here that pops up when you pick it. Now these are, if I escape, that's one object, and you got this glyph where you can come in and change some of the, you can insert a symbol. All right, so there's different symbols. Maybe that's plus minus. You can change the unit precision. So if we want it to be just one, move this out of the way. Just 20. You can come in and override the dimension value, right? So I could do that. Obviously, wouldn't want to, but you could. You got your tolerance, so it could be deviation, symmetrical. And you notice that one kind of got large. I'll show you how to fix that in a minute. But there's some different settings, so you can add parentheses around the objects, move the parentheses. So you'll notice though that these lines that are here, are extended, and you'll notice the arrows. If you've got big arrows, it's because I've modified mine already. But the way that you modify these settings and these properties is, again, you can go to options or you can go to dimension styles. So if you go to options, it opens up this dialog box where drafting styles is located, and you go to dimension. And then down here you can see that you got your angular dimension, you've got your arrows. So here's your arrow size. So maybe I want that to be a little larger. So let's make it like 0.1 or maybe 0.15, and it's a closed fill. You can do dual dimensioning. Do you want zeros leading or not? All right, so you can kind of control those. Um, let's minimize that. You've got fit. So, the geometry is automatic, where the arrows is, where the arrows get placed. The dimension text, right? How does that look? So if you just kind of scroll down a little bit here, you can see, is it above the dimension line with a leader, next to the dimension line, what the dimension scale is. So there's a scale factor that you can apply, so that it comes up with the right size. Additional options, right? So there's all kinds of options you can come in here. We're not going to spend a lot of time on these, just knowing that these are where they're at, and this is something that you have to adjust and play with to get the look that you're looking for. So the line, right, those are those ones that are the dimension line settings. And oops, you can see the offset is 0.38, so maybe I want to make that point 2. And then you can hide the dimension lines, the extension lines, right? These are the ones that are really long right now. You can see they're 2 units long, so maybe we make those 0.5. It's got a 0.5 offset, so maybe we change that to 2.5. Okay, so we modified those, and now it's not going to automatically do it. So we're going to go to smart text again, and we're going to pick that entity. And now you can see how making those adjustments changes where this information is placed, right? So again, you can change that location so the text shows up over here. It works the same once you change your dimension style. You can use like the radius dimension. So if I was to come down here and I was to pick on this, you can see there's my radius dimension, right? So it looks like that as well. And again, my active layer is the layer that I was last on. So if I pick this object and look at its properties, you can see that it's on this sidewalk layer, right? So if you really don't want to draw on layer 0, but you would go to the layer manager, create a new layer for your dimensions, Or I could select this layer here, and we can make that layout dimensions. We can make that our active layer, right? So if we were to come in and say active layer, now that layer dimensions is our active layer. So when we do our dimension now, and we do, let's say, radius, and if we were to pick this one, you can see that's a 12-foot radius, and it goes on that layer that we just set, right? So that's the dimensions that you have, and just want to, there's a lot of different options that you can do. So you can, do certain call outs, like, I can specify a curved entity where maybe it's this one here, and you can kind of set the position, where I want to put it, and you can mess around with this little jagged, dimension line. So, just one of those things where you gotta play with how you want it to be displayed and viewed, right? You can see it's kind of giving me an extension along there as well. So, a couple different dimension options. Angular dimension. Again, you're looking at your command line. In you're gonna specify one entity, and then the second entity, and then where that dimension should go. Okay. So that's the dimensions. The next thing we'll take a look at is the textiles.